over to this camera here. There we go. So hey, everybody, welcome to the Vinyl Channel. I'm that Vinyl Guy Boz. So I want to welcome everyone to the live stream. So so the last few weeks, I have visited 3 different record stores. Got walked out with some records, a bag of records in each store. I figured I would, thanks, Pete. I would go ahead and show you some of these records that I have purchased. They're all used records, between $1 and $5. Got a bunch of them here for you. But before we get started, I got something really, really exciting to show you all, especially if you're Ozzy Osbourne fans, any Ozzy Osbourne fans out there in the audience. So I got a gray market bootleg. I do like gray market bootlegs, and I bought this from a store in the UK. It's called juno.co.uk. They sell a lot. Oz, yeah, they sell a lot of gray market bootlegs. It's a great place to find them. So, but anyway, I got this record from them. First of all, I'm going to show you the vinyl first. Okay, so this is what the vinyl looks like. Let me see if I can get it out of the glare. That's what the vinyl looks like. It's this red and black and white marbling. Okay, it looks pretty cool. All right, that's what the record itself looks like. The vinyl looks like. And the record is from 1981. It's a concert from 1981. Here is the cover. It's called Ozzy Osbourne Night Terrors. Okay, so from 1981, it had Randy Rhoads with them as well. I'll bring this up to you so you can see the track listing if you want to see them. Flying High Again, I Don't Know, Crazy Train, et cetera, et cetera. Very cool stuff. So very awesome concert. I'm very excited to get this. They put it out on black vinyl. They put it out on color vinyl. And this here is a special edition color vinyl. And they only press 500 of these. And mine is number 384 of 500 and on this version of it. But it's very, 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 very awesome. Very great concert. As you can see here, it says 10 tracks with Randy Rhoads. Can I get the, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, there you go. 10 tracks with Randy Rhoads. So very awesome concert with Ozzy. I'm a big Ozzy fan. But I'm going to go ahead and show you that first of all. Just excited to get this. So put that down here out of the way. So let me go ahead and get started on these records that I bought. So the first one here is going to be one I got out of a dollar bin. This is going to be the Limelighters. This is from the 1960s. I don't really know the year, probably 67, 68. They're a tongue-in-cheek band. They do a lot of comedy. Comedy in their music, and folk stuff, but good stuff. I already have one Limelighters album in my collection. I really like it, so I got this one from a dollar bin. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and try another Limelighters since I really like them. But again, it's a folk band from the 60s, and this is just very tongue-in-cheek comedy stuff. So very, very good stuff. Oh wow! So Brian, you saw Randy Rhoads with Ozzy. That's awesome. That's awesome. I have two other box sets. Also gray market bootlegs, and with Ozzy Osbourne and Randy Rhoads. So yeah. So anyways, let me go ahead and get to the next one here. Yeah, I'm very jealous of you, Brian. I wish I could have seen. I've never seen Ozzy in concert. I never saw Black Sabbath in the concert. I haven't seen Randy Rhoads in concert. So I have seen a lot of concerts, but I just never got to see Ozzy or them. So here's another one I picked up, and this one here was $5. This is called Tracker. This is from 1982. It's just a rock band, but they only put out one album. One album, and then this is the one and only album. But I really like picking up stuff like this. I like picking up stuff that's uncommon, stuff that's the bands that haven't released a lot of albums, obscure bands, especially from the 80s. Every single rock band from the 80s just brings their own flavor, of rock. And you listen to each band, and it's different here. It's a little bit different with every band. So my collection is just full of just rock bands like this that put out 1, 2, or maybe 3 albums, and they're all from the 80s. So, but I went ahead and got this one too. So Any hits? Yep, I'm older than dirt. I'm older than dirt too. And I'm gonna tell you what, I'm just way too old. So let's see here. We're gonna go ahead and put this on the screen. Brian had a very nice comment. We're gonna add that there. So and he says older than dirt, and we have beat. So yep. And I don't want to miss out Adrian. Adrian had a comment. Awesome. So yeah, awesome. I appreciate that, Adrian. So awesome. So I'm gonna get to the next record here for you all. So this one here was $3. So this one here is the Northern Pikes, Secrets of the Alibi. This is pressed on Virgin Records, 1988. I really do like rock bands from the 1988s. The sound is much more polished. It's not as loud, let's per se. They tone down the rock, but it's very melodic rock. In the late '80s, I really like it a lot. So another band I didn't know about, but you know, I like the picture on the front cover. You know, look like a good group of guys. But again, this is the Northern Pikes from 1988. Awesome stuff. So we're going to keep moving on here. So this one here I got from the Dollar Bin. So one of the stores I went to, he had crates like this. You probably can't see it. So crates like these crates here filled with just dollar records. He had like I think four of these crates just full of dollar records, and I went through all of them. So so this here is Route 66 theme, and this is and other great TV themes. Nelson Riddle Orchestra. So he's known for doing the Batman theme, if you're familiar with Batman from the 1960s, but he did a lot of other things too. If you want, maybe you can do that here, but you can see all the different things that he did. Steve Allen Show, My Three Sons. So a lot of these, depending on how old you are, they might not be familiar to you, but good stuff. Good stuff for $1. The vinyl was in really nice shape. So when I picked it up, can't beat that. Got another one here for $1. And I'm a big fan of the Venturers. So mostly instrumental stuff. Kind of beach music, but not all that beachy. A lot of guitars in it and drums, but good stuff. And very common to find in the Dollar Bin. Vinyl was really nice condition. You can see that. So on the Dalton label. So and a stereo, which is nice too. But for $1, you know, you can't beat it. They had a bunch of Ventures. Here's another Ventures too that I got also on the Dalton label. Also, the vinyl was in really nice shape. So if you can see that. So yeah, so I mean, for $1, I just couldn't beat that. So good stuff. So also, believe it or not, I know some people probably don't think about this, all right? But sometimes I get in records in the mail, especially like 12-inch singles, and they'll ship it just in these plain sleeves, or they ship it in a broken sleeve that's all crinkled and written on and stuff. So this here was $1. It was in Dollar Bin. But you know what? I didn't buy it for the record. I'm not even sure who this is. This is Lean Lovitch Blue Hotel. I don't know who this is. I will play this. Who knows? Maybe I might like it. But I bought it for the sleeve, which is $1 sleeve. If you go to eBay and buy these sleeves in really good shape, and this one here is in really good shape, anywhere between $2 to $3 a sleeve for these outer sleeves. So, you know, I got this one for $1. So I figured, you know what? That's good to have, you know, in case I get more records in the mail where, you know, I'm going to need, a sleeve for. So it's a good investment there. So think about that when you're digging in Dollar Bin, you know, look at the outer sleeves as well. So this one here is Bernie Higgins. So I think this is from, what year is this? I know it's mid to late 70s. I can't quite see the year. But he did a song called Key Largo, the big hit in the 70s. So have his 45, but I don't know this. I've never had this album. I've never had his entire album before. So, and this has the song Key Largo on it. So I figured, you know what, for I think this one was $4. So for $4, I went ahead and picked it up. And again, the vinyl was in super, super nice shape. So, you know, I can't complain about that. So that was that one. Got another 12-inch sleeve, $1, Prelude. So Vicki Sue Robinson, this is Hot Summer Night. You know, I like Vicki Sue Robinson, so maybe I like this record. If not, then I'll keep the outer sleeve if I ever need it. So I do buy a lot of disco 12-inch singles, and Prelude has a lot of disco and soul singles. So I got that, $1 for that. So let me go ahead and go up to, so we got, so is this chat? Playing around, so we're gonna hide this. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Roger Daltrey. This one here was $5 as well. Now, Roger Daltrey, he was from the Who, I believe, right? Roger Daltrey is from the Who. So I think I have one other Roger Daltrey album that I like. This one I wasn't familiar with, but you can see up here the price sticker. It was just $5. Again, really nice shape. One of the Boys. This one is from 1977 MCA label. So I figured I'll give it a listen. So I'll probably like it. Who? That's right, the Who. No, it's the Who, not Who, the Who. So yeah, so Roger Daltrey, good stuff here. This one here is interesting. I've never seen this before, so I'm a big fan of Melissa Manchester. Okay, I have 3 or 4 of her albums from the 80s, from the early 80s. I think 81, 82, 83. So I actually like her music. This one I've never seen before. This one is from 80 to 85. This might be one of her last albums that she put out. But I really like the cover. I like Melissa Manchester. And this one here was $5 as well. Again, the vinyl was in, you know, I always check the vinyl on these, but I guess it's turned around the wrong way. But trust me, it's in really great shape. So great record. And next one here, this one here was another $5 find. Another one of these obscure bands, Refugee. Don't know who they are. This is here from 1987. And 1987 was a great year for rock music, really great music. Transitioning from that more, loud, raw stuff that you have from 82 to 84 to the more polished stuff you get in the later 80s. So this is going to be in the middle of that. I'm very interested in hearing this. The name of the album is Burning from the Inside Out. Has to be a rock band. I mean, you have to look at the songs, A Survival of the Western World, Lay Me Down, Burning from Inside Out, Power, American Dream, Keep the Lion in the Cage. With those kind of titles, it's going to be a rock band. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing this one. Promo, a Ghost Stamp promo. So I got that one. Here's an interesting one here too as well. So I almost put this one back, but I ended up picking it up to take it because it was $5. I figured, what? Maybe for $3 or $4, I could have been more, but I went and got it. So this is called Stealing Horses. Okay, not even an apostrophe up there. Stealing Horses. So this came out in 1988. So after I bought this, I got home and I looked this up. So and I found a blog written by one of the female lead singers. So they were in Nashville. And they sang at a bunch of the local bars and stuff in Nashville. They were country rock, and they signed with Arista. This was on the Arista label. They said that they were touring for a little while. Arista was promoting the tour. They sold about 100,000 of these albums, but then Arista just pulled the rug out from under them, stopped all the funding. They had to stop touring. That was it. It was just the one album. A couple of years later, they actually, I think in the 90s, they finally, under a small label, put out another album. But I'm very interested in hearing this. I really like the artwork. I mean, that artwork is pretty cool, actually. Look at it. So, yeah. So, again, I like this kind of, obscure stuff. I'd never heard of them before. So, but I was worried it might be more mainstream country. I'm not mainstream country. I'm okay with, but my wife really likes mainstream country, and I do like some mainstream country, but not all. So I was really worried about this, but I'm glad when I came home and I said it was country rock. So yeah. All right, enough of that. Next here, Randy Newman, Trouble in Paradise. Big fan of Randy Newman. I got 3 or 4 of his other albums. I didn't have this one. I think I got this one for $2 or $3. So again, the vinyl was in really good shape. There you go. So another $1 record find, right? Another white label cover. It's by the Manhattan Transfer. I'm not familiar with the song. That's Killer Joe on one side and Aragon on the other. So, but if anything, I'm going to keep this cover. I know I have a bunch of Atlantic and Atco 12-inch singles, probably in plain white sleeves. So if I don't like this record, I'm going to match this with one of those other 12-inch singles, and then I have a blank plain white sleeve extra for other records. I know. What I do. I don't know if people think about this kind of thing. That's why I wanted to mention it to you. So anyways, we got that. Another $1 record here. Soundtrack. I'm big into soundtracks. This one is The Fortune Cookie. I've never seen this before. So, but I'm a big fan of Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. This probably came out in 1960 something, probably 67, 68, my guess. But I love Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. So I'm not sure if y'all have seen this movie before, but it's probably going to be comedy. And judging from the pictures, it's going to be comedy. Anyways, moving on. This one here, another dollar bin, disco rock. I'm big into disco, big into compilations. Columbia Special Products. So this would have been put out by Columbia House. So 1977. Looks like it's the original artist, which is cool. But if you want to take a look at the track listing here, we got MFSB, we got the Third Degree, OJs, BT Express, Lou Rawls, good stuff. So the vinyl was questionable. It looks shiny, but there is a couple marks on it, so I don't know. But for $1, I'm gonna give it a shot. So there you go. Another one here, another $1 record. Love this kind of stuff. This is more beach music, instrumental, but this one, I'm not. I guess listen to Shutdown. I guess this is more instrumental stuff, or more. No, because 409 is the instrumental. I guess this is all beach music, different beach music by the original artist. But I do like this kind of thing. So you love Jack who? Who's Jack? Oh, Jack Lemmon. Oh, Jack. Yeah, surf music. Surf music's awesome. Yeah, I love that stuff. I have a lot of it in my collection. Well, I can't see a lot of it, but I do have some of it. Yeah, Jack Lemmon is awesome. He's great comedian, great actor. So especially like the Odd Couple, he does such a good job with that. So this one here is one I was really hemming and hawing about because I believe it was $5. I wasn't sure if I wanted to spend that on this record. I do like Exile's Greatest Hits. I don't have this album. I have 2 Exile albums in my collection. I have their very first album they put out, and I have the one with When I Kiss You Over and Over from 1975. So, but then from there, they went on to do more country stuff, more mainstream country music. And so I wasn't sure if I was going to like this or not. But you know what, though? I do like Exile. So I went ahead and decided to pick it up after all. Matter of fact, I was at the register paying for the records when I finally turned around and said, fine. Because in the back of my head, I'm going like, you're going to be sorry if you don't buy that. So I went back and picked it up and put it, and put it in my pile. But I do like Exile, so hopefully I'll like this record. Highway 101. This is from, want to say the 90s. Is there a date here? No, why is there no date here? All right. So anyways, I think this is from the 90s, I believe, early 90s, 93, 94 maybe. Highway 101. That this here is country, but you know, on the country rock side, I do have some of their 45s. I do like them. Again, my wife also likes this kind of thing. So, yep. Was this put out by? It was put out by BMG Music Service. So it's put out by BMG Music. So cool stuff. Couldn't pass this. I love K-Tel. I have a big K-Tel collection. I got some live shows where I've shown my K-Tel records. I didn't have this one. Another $5 fine. So just a bunch of wacky Western songs, novelty songs. Let me put it up there so you can take a look at some of the track listing. But Running Bear, Monkey That Became President, 10 Little Bottles, Tennessee Birdwalk, that kind of thing. Cool stuff. 24 original hits, 24 good original stars. Which album, Adrian, were you talking about? And I know there's a lag, so and I'm really trying to pay attention to the chat as well. So, and if you have problems hearing me or anything, let me know because I can always increase the volume, but let's make sure the volume is good. So here's one here, also another one that I picked up. I think this is a Canadian. Is this Canadian? Not sure. 1981. It says this is, I believe, it's a Canadian band. It's called Chilliwack. I had heard of them, but I never owned any of their stuff before. So, but this is based by the guys having fun on this boat. It looks like some pop rock. I do like pop rock, so good stuff. The name of this album is, I think it's a self-titled album. So on the Millennium label. So I don't have a whole lot on the Millennium label. I have more 45s, but I only got one or two albums. Highway 101, yeah. Highway 101, like I said, I got a bunch of their 45s, 3 or 4 of the 45s, and they're pretty good. So when I saw that record, I went ahead and grabbed it. But anyway, Chilliwack, 1980. I believe it's saying 1981. So good stuff. Can't wait to hear that. This here was, I think this one was $3, I believe. This is White Nights. So I already have this album, but you know, they issued this on 2 different album covers. I don't know why they did that. So the other album cover, I think, has the 2 big pictures of the actors, but this one here has got this picture on it. So I figured I'm gonna go ahead and get the other one that I didn't have. So now I have both covers. But you know what? It's a great soundtrack. So I went and picked it up. Not sure if we can see the album, but oh yeah, and it came in this nice little Atlantic sleeve too. So that's pretty nice. Always like when it comes in these company sleeves. So, but the vinyl is in pretty nice shape. So can't beat that. Getting down to almost to the last here. So this here was actually, believe it or not, in the dollar bin. It's sealed. It's brand new. Great movie. Yeah, I really like White Nights. It's a really great movie. So yeah, good movie. This here was a sealed record in the dollar bin. So this here from 1978 FM Odyssey. So Odyssey is the group that performs on this. They're probably like a house band for Peter Pan Records. But they are covering a bunch of hits from 1970, from the late 70s, probably around 78. That they're covering. Let me put it up here so you can take a look at the track listings if you can. But they got, yeah, that's all right. Lido Shuffle, originally by Bob Scaggs. We Will Rock You, originally by Queen. Life in the Fastland, originally by the Eagles. Just the Way You Are. I'm trying to remember who did that. Just the Way You Are. Anyways, Tumbling Dice, which I think is the Rolling Stones. FM by Steely Dan. Not Moves by Seeger. But they cover all these songs. So I figured for $1, I'm gonna give this a listen. It might be pretty good, and I do like listening to covers of songs as well. for $1. Can't beat it. So here's an interesting one here. I didn't even know about this until I saw this. This one here was $1.50. I still got the price tag on it, $1.50. So anyways, this one here is Bachman Turner Bachman as belt drive. So after I bought this, yeah, I like Billy Joel a lot. After I bought this, I came home and I researched this. So, by the way, I don't take my cell phone into stores anymore. My cell phone stays in my car. I know I can look this stuff up on the store if I wanted to. The problem is that, especially nowadays, I don't have a lot of extra time that I would like to have digging for records in stores. I have an hour here and an hour there, maybe, once or twice, once every 2 or 3 weeks, because I'm just busy. I work full time. I got a family to take care of. I got a dog that has to get walked. I got responsibilities, so I can't spend hours and hours and hours in record stores like I did when I was younger. So I really cherish my time in these stores. So when I go in with my cell phone, then I'm spending time on it. I'm looking things up. I'm listening to stuff, and I'm not digging for records. So I'd rather just go in there and just use my knowledge of what I know and decide what I'm going to buy based on that. I'm not going to waste time just stopping and taking 5 minutes and looking something up. I just waste my time. I'm going to miss out digging on some more records. So, and I usually do pretty well picking records out. So anyways, back to this. Sorry about that. A little tangent for you. But this is Bachman Turner Bachman as belt drive. So in 1971, belt drive put a record out. I'm not sure the label. I think it was on Reprise. So, and they put a record out and didn't do that well. I think they might have had maybe a top top 40 song, I think, but I think it was like 38, 37. So they put out a second album. The second album did not do anything. So they were working on their third album, and the first album was called Belt Drive, and the second album, Belt Drive 2, and then they worked on Belt Drive 3. And they pretty much had the album close to being done, and Reprise dropped them. No more, you're not selling records. So they took their tapes they had for Belt Drive 3, and they took it around, and they're marketing it to different labels and trying to get, on a different label. And I forget who Bachman Turner Overdrive ended up with. I'm trying to think what label it was. But that label went ahead and listened to their tape, Reprise, yeah, their tape, and said, we like it, but we're going to give you some pointers on what to change about it. I'm not sure exactly what they changed, but they tell them small changes here and there to some of the songs. When they went back in the studio and they adjusted a couple of things, it was still pretty much the same album, but I think they added some instruments. I'm not positive. But then they decided to change their name to Bachman Turner Overdrive. So before Bachman Turner Overdrive, which is a huge band, I'm sure all of you out there know who BTO is, right? Taking Care of Business, all that stuff, right? But they were known as Belt Drive originally. And they put out 2 albums, Belt Drive and Belt Drive 2. And then, so in 1975, when Bachman Turner Overdrive's album went on the charts and it was very popular and it did very well, Reprise said, didn't we release a couple albums with them? So they re-released the albums. So this is the 1975 re-release of Belt Drive 2 is basically what this is. But but I didn't know all this on the store. I just saw Bachman Turner Bachman. I knew it probably had to do with something with Bachman Turner Overdrive, so I went and grabbed it. So but there you go. A little story for you if you weren't familiar with the history of Bachman Turner Overdrive. Last but not least, so this one here is a band called Brownsville Air Special. Yes, belt drive. Well, not well. I have 3 major turntables I use. One is direct drive, so that one does not have a belt beat, but the other two do. So anyway, let me put his comment up here for y'all. So this one here is called Brownsville, which is Brownsville Station. If you're familiar with Brownsville Station, they had a really big hit in the early 70s, I think 73, Smoking in the Boys Room. They put out, I think, a total of 5 or 6 albums. And this was their final album that they put out, and this is from 1978. They decided to change their name from Brownsville Station to just Brownsville. I think they added somebody to the band that wasn't with the band. But I'll tell you something about this. So this is a hard-hitting album. It's a lot harder than their earlier material, and it is a really great album. Who Do You Love, which is a song, I think, from the 60s, and it was redone by George Thorogood and the Destroyers, but they do a really amazing cover of that song. Down the Road Piece is a really good song. I mean, this is really hard. This is getting towards Boston type hard music for this group. It's sad that this is their last album that they put out, because I would love to have heard Brownsville in the 1980s. I think they would have went on putting more stuff like this out, and this is amazing for the band. You know, in the early 70s, they put more. You know, the rock in the early 70s had a lot of folk, had more folk, you know, influences behind the rock, behind that music. A lot of it did in the early 70s. So as you get later in the 70s, it gets harder and harder. But this here is an excellent album. If you haven't heard it, Brownsville Air Special, the last studio album put out by Brownsville Station, hard-hitting album. Pick it up and you'll enjoy it. So this is going to be that's all the records I got to show you. So you know what, I want to do that real fast, just so you all know. Excuse me here, but I want to show this to you. You can go here and grab this. I wasn't going to show this, but excuse me from walking away from the camera for a second. Hate doing that. But I figured since y'all seem to like the Ozzy Osbourne I showed you earlier, this is something about 2 years ago, and it's still sealed. I just haven't had time to open it. This is a box set. Ozzy Osbourne from 1982, August 1982. I think Randy Rhoads is on it. No, Randy Rhoads is not on it. Ozzy Osbourne, Zakk Wylde, Mike Inez, Randy Castillo, and John Sinclair. But it's a 3-album set, another Gray Marker bootleg, pressed. You can see the hype sticker here. They pressed only 150 of these. This is number 83 out of 150. So there's the track listing. If I can get it out of the glare there. If I want to go ahead and take a look at some of the songs, but very cool box set. So I also have another box set similar to this as well, but it's different, a different concert. This one was live at Miami, again, August 82, limited to 250 splatter vinyl copies. So I need to go ahead and actually open that eventually and play it. I've been meaning to do a video, a regular video, not a live, but a regular video on the channel. Open this up and show it. So hopefully I'll do that soon, eventually. So, but I do want to thank everybody for being here. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I want to open it up to ask me anything about any of these records. If you have any recent finds that you've had, I want to talk about. Yeah, cool Ozzy. I love Ozzy. My Ozzy collection is like that much. So I think I have just those 3 Gray Marker bootlegs of Ozzy. So, but I got some pretty cool Ozzy stuff. So that's one thing that I wanted to do with this channel, was just show off my collection. I know I started doing this just a month and a half ago, so I'm still getting in the feel and the groove. So, but eventually I'm going to start have a show where here's all my Kiss albums. Matter of fact, I probably have enough Kiss albums for 2 shows. Here's part 1, all my Kiss albums, and part 2, you know, and then the next show, here's all my Ozzy albums, and another one, here's all my Meatloaf. So that's, you know, what I might, you know, I'll be doing as well. So, but I'm open to talk. If you have anything to talk about, ask. I do want to thank Beat for being here, and Brian, awesome. Yeah, all good stuff. So you all familiar with Brownsville Station, right? I mean, I was always blown away by this album when I heard it. So just how hard this was. Matter of fact, I wasn't sure about this because it said Brownsville. Well, no, that's got to be Brownsville Station. How can that not be Brownsville Station? So, but I got home, I looked it up, and then they said it was their last album, the last studio album that they put out. And I went to Spotify and was playing. Haven't had time to play this yet, but I went to Spotify. Yes, I do stream. But when Spotify played 3 or 4 of the songs, I was like, wow, this is like really good stuff. So anyways. So, yeah, very good question there, Beat. Let me go ahead and bring up Beat's question. So my wife collects Snoopies. She collects Snoopy and Woodstock and stuff like that. She does not collect vinyl. She does have some vinyl albums that I purchased for her. I know she likes that kind of stuff, but it is in my collection. We know which albums those are because it's only a handful of them. But I mean, we're married, so everything is ours, really. But no, my wife doesn't really collect vinyl. Sometimes we go to stores together, and she likes blues a lot. So Woodstock, oh yeah, she does Woodstock. I mean, she's got just a cabinet over there just full of Woodstock stuff. So, but she says that she has enough, so I'm not allowed to buy her anymore. I'm not allowed to buy her any more Woodstock. I've been cut off. Can't do it. So yeah, but when we go to a record store together, she'll dig around in the blues section. She likes blues a lot. I like blues. I like blues too. So, matter of fact, my blues collection is getting larger all the time. I mean, I would say, 60 to 70% of my collection is rock or hard rock. Another 20% is probably blues. So, oh yeah, you could have Snoopy. I have a bunch of Snoopy albums too. So, yep. So yeah, but you know what? She likes blues, so she'll pick albums out for me to buy to come home and play. But whether that's hers or not is up for a debate. I do take time to enjoy my collection. You know what? I try to at least get one day a week where, I wake up in the morning, have my breakfast, have my coffee, and then I'm in there and I'm playing records for the majority of the day in my record room. And so, of course, I got my wife here and my dog here, so I have to interact with them, but I'm not, I don't ignore them at all, but, I try to stay in there and I listen to, records. I have actually a lot of records that I've purchased that I haven't had time to play. I even have records from 2 or 3 years ago that I bought that I haven't had time to play. So, but a lot of times I'm pulling out stuff that I like too. So instead of playing the new music, I'm playing old music. So, you had to take that into consideration as well. On top of that, I'm doing videos. I'm doing videos on YouTube. I like doing that as well. That is a hobby into itself. So I have 2 hobbies, actually, my YouTube video channel, and I have my vinyl. So I'm trying to go in between those 2. So that's why I like doing these. I'm switching over to do more and more of these live shows. Because number one, people don't expect you to really edit your live shows like they do my regular videos. So I spend more time on the regular videos. These I can just put up and it's up. And if I make mistakes, if whatever, it is what it is. And people more expect that from a live broadcast than they do from a regular video. It shouldn't have mistakes. It should be, edited. It should be more polished. And that takes more time. So I've been switching over and doing these lives more because first of all, it's Thursday night, not a lot going on anyways. And so that gives me more time during the week. I'm off on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and half a day on Thursday. So today I worked from 6:30 a.m. until noon. And then I had to go out shopping, and then I came home. So, but at least I get to This is a real music channel. Yeah, it is. I mean, you can see all the records I have behind me. I've got a lot of records. So these over here are all my soundtracks in the bottom. I got stuff at the top, and I got 45s down here as boxes. I got 10,000 45s. So I love 45s. We got to a point where I'm like, I mean, I had about maybe 200 LPs, and I had 10,000 45. So one day I flicked the switch. I said, maybe I need to start looking at getting more and more LPs. So then I kind of flipped and I started buying LPs. I still buy 45s, but not at the clip that I used to buy 45s, maybe about 20 or 30 a year, where I was buying a lot more. But now I'm buying a lot more LPs. But yeah, so, doing these live broadcasts really frees up my week to actually play records. So because it could take, when you edit a video, I mean, depending on what I'm doing, it could take 4 or 5 or even 6 hours to record a video, edit it, make sure it's right, upload it, check it out. I mean, it can take a lot of time. So yeah, but 150 45s. Yeah, I mean, 45s are great. I still love 45s. Actually, this last Monday, I actually spent the whole day just playing 45s. So I had a bunch of Halloween 45s that I didn't play for my Halloween special. But I went ahead and played those, and I spent most of the day playing 45s. Had a good time. Yeah, 10,000 is a lot of 45s. So I have about 90 of these buckets full of 45s. So all scattered around my my record room, which this here is the opening to it going in, but it's basically this whole back area here. It's an extension of the house. So yep. Yeah, I would love to have a jukebox. When I was a child, when I was like 3 and 4 years old, my parents had a house and had a basement. It was up in upstate New York, and they actually had a jukebox in the basement. And so I remember my mom playing these 45s on the jukebox. We moved from that house, and we actually ended up selling the jukebox because the house we're moving to didn't have a basement in it. But my mom kept those 45s. So yeah, so over the years, those 45s end up being, there are four kids. I have a brother and 2 sisters. End up being, the kids' records. I was the oldest, so I pretty much was the one playing them. So, yeah, so that's where my love of 45s comes from. It's from my mom when I was a kid. The 45 is a lot of fun, though. It really is. I can sit there and take a box out and just pick out 10, 15 45s that I want to play and just go in there and just one up to the other. So, I mean, it's kind of annoying. Some people say, you got to change the needle every 3 or 4 minutes, which is fine. I get that. But it's also fun, too. So, you get to hear these records, and you don't have to put the entire album on. You don't have to figure, if I hear one song, you don't have to figure out where to put that needle down on, So, yeah, I like picture sleeves, too. So, yeah, I got a bunch of 45s with picture sleeves. So as a matter of fact, a couple years ago, I got a neighbor gave me a box of 45s. I don't know, about 200 45s, and behind it was about 200 just picture sleeves, just empty picture sleeves. So I went through and I got the ones I wanted out. Some of them I actually hung up on my wall in my room, but the rest of them I put up on eBay and I sold them. So I got a pretty good price for a lot of them. Diamond nettle. What's diamond nettle? Nettle. Diamond nettle. Oh, diamond needle. Is that what you're saying there, Beat? I know there's a delay here, so needle. There you go. Yeah. So I do have one. I can't say one. I have 2 record players. This green one behind me. You see this one here? That's from 1974. It's a 1974 GE. It has a probably a sapphire needle on it. It doesn't work. It works partly. I've been meaning to get it fixed, but I know it's probably going to be a couple $100 to get it fixed. That's a lot of money, so I really don't have that laying around. So one day I may get it fixed. Do they still make what? Do they still make diamond needles for record players? Is that what you're asking, Beat? They still make these record players here? No. I mean, I think you can get record players. I have to change it, by the way. So, but I think they still do make changers. I think what's that company that makes the suitcase records? I think they have 1 or 2 changers that you can buy from them. I've seen on their website. I can't think of the name. Is it Crossley? Yeah, I think Crossley makes at least 1 or maybe 2 changers. So, but so yeah, you can still buy them new, but they're definitely not common. Brand new. Almost all record players are just, not changers anymore. So, but they still make diamond needles. Yeah. I mean, a diamond stylus is, all my record players, I change out the styluses about every 2 years. So, on the diamond. So, I mainly have Audio Technica is what I have on all. Well, it's not true. I have Audio Technica on this one over here. On it's got it's an AT3600L. Excuse me, which is a inexpensive conical stylus, and then I have an ATN or the AT something on my direct drive, and then I have a turntable that a friend of mine gave me that was in her attic for like 20 years. She gave me a turntable. She goes, "Here, she gave me a box, this record player." She said she had it in her attic for 20 years. Her husband had it, and they got divorced, and she doesn't think that he even never opened it. And it was sitting in her attic for 20-something years, and she found out that I collect records, and she brought it into work. She goes, "Here, you can have it." So that came with I don't remember. There's a video on my channel talking about it. It's a Vestifier. It's kind of interesting too, because that record player, the Vestifier Petite Pop was what it was called. So it was in her attic, brand new for 20 years. Over those 20 years, that the stylus that was in the box, that company went out of business, and that stylus became very sought after because people liked that stylus. And nowadays you can buy a replacement, but it's not made by them. It's made by other companies, Chinese companies that make lookalikes for it, And here I had a brand new one in the box because it had never been used before, so that was sweet. So it's a pretty good stylus, though. I don't remember the name of it though. But again, if you go to my main channel and put in, I think it's called Vestifier or Petite Pop, you'll see that video. So, I actually messed up recording that. I was going to do an unboxing, and my camera's all messed up, so it's not the best unboxing in the world. But I do show the record player. It's really cool though. It's a transparent, like a transparent orangish reddish. I think they're trying to make it look like fire. So it's a cool looking record player actually. So and it works great. So I was kind of worried because it had a belt drive on it. So being in an attic for 20 years. And I'm in Florida, and so that's where it was. I figured it would like melt the belt or something like that. But I put it together, and I played it, and it played beautiful. So it works great, and I actually really like the record player a lot. Yeah, it was a really nice gift. So, yeah. I prefer Audio Technica styluses. I don't care for Ortofon. I've had them off and on. One thing that turned me off about them was I bought what was it? I don't remember the brand name, but anyway, they came with the Ortofon OM10, and had the Ortofon OM10 on the record player for about 3 weeks, brand new record player, brand new OM10, and the cantilever just fell off One day I'm about to play a record. I pick up the needle and I put it over, and I'm like going, why don't I have a needle? And I actually looked down, trying to, I wasn't really expecting to find it. I figured it'd probably be in a floor lost forever, but it's actually laying on the record. This cantilever was, it just fell right off. I'm sure it happens to other stylists as well, but that really turned me off, and I wasn't all that happy with that OM10 as it was. So I wouldn't. So instead of buying another OM10, and you can't, even though it was brand new, a stylus and cartridge is kind of like tires on a car. It's really considered, consumer replaceable item, so you can't complain about a stylus. Anyways, I went ahead and bought an ATN95 cartridge and took that Audiophone cartridge off and put that ATN95 in and put the Audio Technica cartridge on the record player, and it's been on it ever since. So, but I'm not here to trash Audiophone. Audiophone makes good stuff. A lot of people like Audiophone. That's fine and dandy. More power to you. Good for Audiophone, but that experience really turned me off when the cantilever just fell off the cartridge. So, Beat, do you have a DJ turntable, or do you have an audiophile turntable, or do you have more than one turntable, or do you have a turntable at all? I'm assuming you have records, right, Beat? If he's still here, he may have left, not sure. So, here he is. I have this little chat box in the middle that tells me someone's chatting, and then it takes another few seconds for it to actually chat in the window here so I can read it, because I can't, it's too small here on the screen. I can't really read it. I'm using the green Audio Technica, upgrading to the red stylus. So that green is, I'm talking about like a solid green color. That is a, what do you call it? I said it earlier. It's a, not elliptical, but it's a, I said the name earlier, but yeah, the green is a really good bass stylus. It's conical. Fluence, really, because I thought Fluences came with Audiophons. So, but yeah, it's the green is the 1895. Is it NL? But those are conical styluses. They're really good. You know what? I actually like conical stylus. They reduce wear on the record. I think they sound pretty good personally. And conical stylus just takes a beating. You can sit there and scratch with one, even if it's not a DJ stylus. It can be an audiophile stylus. As long as it's a conical, you can scratch with that thing, and most of those conicals will just hold up. So they're workhorse styluses. They last. They sound good. I find that the more expensive a stylus is, the less it lasts. The sooner it needs to be replaced. It's the more dainty as you get the more and more expensive. So I remember I bought one stylus one time. I think it was for $200. It was the brown one. I forget what it was, but it was a Audio Technica ATN95. It was a brown one, and it lasted me about a year, and then it started sounding bad. I was like, for that kind of money, it needs to last longer than a year. So I really wasn't happy with that. Yeah. I was just reading an article in Oliphant, Pennsylvania, where they had a a record plant, a plant that was making records back in the 60s or maybe in the 50s. I don't remember. It was, I think it was Specialty Records. And so they made records all through the 60s and 70s and the 80s. And then, the 80s, late 80s and 90s came and they switched over, started making CDs, got rid of all the vinyl pressing machines and making CDs, through the 90s making CDs. And then in the late 90s and 2000, they started making Blu-rays and DVDs. So, but now it's shut down. They're just now tearing that building down. So I just read an article about it. Techno was born in Detroit. Techno music, like electronic music, or are you talking about like hip hop? I guess I'm not familiar with that term. I think of hip hop or electronic whenever I see that. Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. A lot of DJs use that for scratching and stuff like that. I think I have a few of those type. Hip hop is not really my forte. I do have a little bit of it in my collection, but not that much. So electronic house music, yeah, it's just not. I'm more of rock, hard rock. I do like disco. So I know that a lot of disco morphed into the hip hop over the years. So when you listen to hip hop, you hear a lot of that soul disco roots in that kind of music. So, but I do like soul. I like disco, blues. I just recently got into jazz. I have a little bit of jazz, picking up some more jazz, and jazz is okay. I don't have nothing against it. It was just a genre that I never really, looked at that much. But I've been slowly getting more and more jazz music in my collection. But hip hop is just not really, hip hop, hard metal like metal from today. Now, you're talking about metal from the 80s, I think metal was born, around 82, 83. Metal from the 80s and even a little bit from the early 90s is okay. But now metal is just, people are just screaming to the microphone and it's just like death metal and all this kind of stuff. I'm just not into that either. So it has to have a rhythm, and that really hard metal has no rhythm. Right, hard rock, heavy metal, that's fine. Like you're talking about like Motley Crue and Twisted Sister and stuff like that, right? That stuff I like. So some people consider Kiss metal. Have a hard time thinking them as a metal band. Maybe some of the earlier stuff might have been considered a little bit more metal. Yeah. So I mean, I like that stuff. I also have. I don't know if I hate to get up from my seat because it's kind of rude, but I have the Rods. Oh man, the Rods are great, and Rods is a metal band too. I was in St. Petersburg about this. I think it was 2 summers ago. I was in St. Petersburg. It was a big, huge record store. I had been there a long time ago, about 10 years ago, and I bought a bunch of 45s from them. But then a couple years ago, I was talking about the store with my wife, and she wanted to see it. So I took her back to. It was in St. Petersburg. And huge warehouse, 2-story warehouse, and but going through everything, and I came across this record called The Rods, and it looked pretty cool, and I went and picked it up, came right home, and I played it. It was awesome. I bought 2 other Rod albums since. One is a reissue, and the other one is an original. So I got 3 Rods now. But Rods is really great metal band. Play drums. All right, Brian. All the girls like the drummers, right? That's what I heard. All the girls like the drummers. Is that right, Brian, or not? I don't know. I never been in a band before. Yeah, a lot of great drummers over the years. Ah, the girls like the guitar players. All right. Well, what can I say? I remember that movie, That Thing You Do, and was that guy the drummer that was kept on trying to get the girls? It's a really great, really great movie, by the way. If you've never seen it before, that Thing You Do. So yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, I've been picking up more and more. Let me see. I have this one here. This is pretty cool. Let me see if I can pull it out real fast. I don't know if I can find it. It's over here somewhere, is it? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Should be here in the middle. Who knows where it is? I got too many records. Poco. I like Poco a lot. I don't know if I'll be able to find it or not. This is a good band too. I want to pull this out and show it to you. Not sure if you're familiar with it or not, but I also have Please Pretenders. Oh, come on, where is it at? Especially further back. There it is. So this here is a group that I came across recently, and they're really great. You still with me? Did I lose you? Walking away from the camera. It's called Pet Hate. It's a British band, a British metal band. This is called Bad Publicity. It's from the either the late 80s or 90s, I think. So really, really great album. I have two other albums. I think they only put out two albums. So good stuff if you like metal. And especially the 80s metal, that kind of stuff. And Point Blank is also a really great band I like. So not sure if y'all familiar with this band either. I got 3 or 4 other albums. So hard rock band, good stuff. Never heard of the Pet Hate? Yeah, I got, like I said, I got both their albums, but it's really good. So it's a hard rock band from the UK. Let me see if the date here. Of course not. 84. So it's older than I thought. Yeah. So the Pet Hate is from 1984. I think the other one I have is from 1985. So, but I really like picking up obscure bands. I've been really doing that for the last 4 or 5 years. Bands that put out 1, 2, maybe 3 albums. You'd be surprised just how many groups out there that want to put out 1 album. And you're like, this is a great album. Why did they only put out 1 album? So, or 2 albums. So I've been really digging around for stuff like that because every group brings something to the table in the rock genre, and I just want to hear it all. Yeah, indie bands. Usually, though, with indie bands, it's on unknown labels. But actually, I've gotten a lot of groups where they put only 1 or 2 albums out on RCA and A&M, and so it's not sure if you would call those indie, but I do have some that did put out 1 or 2 records, and then they got dropped by the label, and then they put out 2 or 3 more self-produced albums. So you have that situation as well. Yeah. All right. So it's 9 o'clock. I got to be at work in the morning. So I'm going to go and cut this short. I'm enjoying this conversation. I hate doing this. I hate cutting you all off when you're all talking. But yeah, I got to be at work in the morning. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight to y'all. I really appreciate you stopping by and watching the video. But I will be here. I should be here again next Thursday night. And so I want to thank everybody, and y'all have a good night. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Beat. Not sure if Adrienne is still here or not, but have a good night. And for it says I have 5 watchers, so I guess there's other 2. I appreciate everybody stopping by. But I'll see you all next time. Right? Have a good night.